I'm Dr. Natasha Oquendo. Welcome to another episode of Power to Prosper. Listen, you may want to share this with someone because I do believe this is timely. I do believe this is something that you can see that is going on, but to also bring understanding to the era that I believe we are in, or when I say era, ERA, I mean a time that we are in, meaning a time that we have, a dispensation of time that we have embarked into, right? And in order to survive this time that we're in, and not only survive, but to thrive and to continue to progress and continue to grow, I do believe that this is the next level game changer. So with that being said, let's get into it. As in the next level game changer, which is mentorship, right? Some could call it coaching, and we see it. We're in these life coaching spaces. Now we are in these mindset coaching spaces. We are in these spiritual coaching spaces. We're also in the business sector, as in business coaching, entrepreneurship coaching, all type of coaching and mentorship and training that we're in. The Lord had actually given me a word back in 2017 or so. And he was talking about the generation that we were in. And he said, in order for this generation to succeed or progress or get to the level that we need to get to, that we would have to be able to receive instruction. And those instruction would come from those who have mastered certain areas, certain spaces within the life, right? Whether it's in life, whether it's in the health demographic, we see that. The weight loss demographic, we see that. Healthy food preparation, whether we see the veganism and the those who are taking on just being vegetarians, all of that, and even the preparation of our regular food, but in a more healthy space. And so with that being said, when the Lord gave this to me and I began to see it more so myself and have to embark into it myself, right? It was a next level game changer, right? And so if you're looking for your life to go to the next level, and I talked about this in one of my segments about breaking away from the familiar, breaking out of the familiar. You may want to reference that particular episode to help understand. But as we're making this transition or this shift into a greater space, a greater person, these are different things that I believe that we should know, right? And so when I'm talking about this mentorship, I want to talk about it, and I may go into this in a few segments because it may take a few segments for this. But in this particular episode, I want to address, are you ready for mentorship? Because I came to realize that you have to be ready for a mentor to come into your life, or you have to get to a certain level. You have to be done, accomplish all that you can on your own, right? And so let's go to number one. The number one thing that I notice that needs to happen when it comes to mentorship, and it also being a game changer in the person's life, is acknowledge the need for help. So with that being said, acknowledging the need for help, you have to come to the place to where you recognize I need help. So how do you acknowledge that? Well, are you stuck? Whether it's stuck in life, are you stuck in a certain level in your finances, right? Whether it's your life, your business, your relationships, your faith, that's even a thing. Or being just stuck at the same level, or have you hit a plateau in your life, meaning you've gone as far or as high as you could go. So that is a particular sign, bing, 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 that you are in need of mentorship or coaching, even if it's a mental plateau, right? Then you may be in need of some sort of counsel or therapy, right? And so these are different things just to take your life to the next level. And it is a game changer, right? But that is an indication when you acknowledge the need for help and you've hit that plateau and you feel stuck in whatever area that it may be. Maybe it's in your parenting. You feel like, I really don't know what else to do or what else to say, right? And then there are people who may specialize in these areas, right? That you can reach out to, but you do recognize that there is a change that is necessary. So that's number one, acknowledging the need for help. So you have to acknowledge that you need help. Otherwise, you would be blinded to the fact and it would not reveal to you, right, that particular mentor that you need. And so number two is, are you ready for a mentor? Right? When I say this, and not only are you ready for a mentor, but do you qualify for a mentor? And I know that sounds strange, but literally when I say that, that means you have come to the end of your own rope, right? It also means that you have done all that you have in your ability to do successfully in your own strength, in whatever area that is, right? Whether it's your mindset, whether it's your character, whether it's your life, relationship, health, whether it's career, finances, faith, your soul walk, all of that, right? And so when I talk about this, because in order to be ready for a mentor, you have to have reached a certain magnitude of maturity. And it's the reason that I say that, right? The best example biblically that came to me when I was thinking about this was Peter. When Jesus met Peter, he had a fishing business. So he had his own business and he had come to a place entrepreneurially, right? But when he called him, he was already doing entrepreneurship. So he already had these attributes and these characteristics of being a proficient businessman, an entrepreneur. So he had a mindset already to run his business. So in order for him to go to the next level of his life, he had maxed out in what he was able to accomplish on his own, if that makes sense. And it could be various things. Like I say, you have to come to the end of your own rope, right? Meaning everything that you're able to accomplish within your own strength. And this goes back to the first one that I said, and acknowledging that you need help if you're going to scale up, meaning scale up as a better person, scale up. And what we don't understand is mindset is everything. And when I say that, because it's always a mindset that you break through first in order to elevate. Whatever that is hindering you, a way of thinking that is hindering you, once that is changed. And see, that's the first thing. That's why I asked the question, are you ready for a mentor? Because that's the first thing that's going to be challenged by the mentor. Just their very presence, the elevated speech that they're talking on, the elevated plane that they're speaking on is going to challenge where you are, right? In order to open up the way in your mind for you to come up. Once your thinking comes up, then your actions and all of those things begin to what? Operate at a greater plane. And so number 3, and this is a really good one as well. Are you willing to invest in your future? Meaning where you are now, it's not about where you are now, but where you're going, right? And so when that mentor comes into your life, they begin to open up the way of your sight to be able to see beyond where you are, right? And these are also indicators to know who should be mentoring you, right? Another thing is, it's not about where you are, who you are now, but it's about who you are becoming. So are you willing to invest in your future? Meaning, are you willing to invest Not where you are now, but where you're going. Not into who you are now, but who you're becoming, right? Investing, when I say invest, I mean investing your time, right? Your resources, your sacrifices, because there are going to be some sacrifices that have to be made. That's just like somebody who is going to school to become a doctor or a lawyer or a judge or, police officer or whatever the case, right? Just whatever it is. There are sacrifices that have to be made. There are investments that have to be made in order to plant that seed into the future of what is going to manifest and who you are going to become, right? And so I'm saying that to say that you have to be willing to invest in your future. Your future has to be important, so much so that you'll invest in it, that you'll believe it, and that you'll begin to see yourself in that place. One thing about a mentor, when they step into your life, you'll be able to see yourself in a greater place. You'll be able to see who you are becoming. You'll be able to envision. It'll open up the way for you to see, right? Number 4, are you positioned to learn? Now, this is important. There is a saying by Tati Ching. It says this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This is a really good one here. When you are ready, are you positioned to learn? This means, are you willing to lay aside what you know? Because a lot of times what we know becomes a big hindrance when it's time to actually take in something new and learn from a greater space. You must be willing to subject yourself to be guided, because the mentor is going to guide you into some spaces, into some places in your life that you may have never been. Or if you have been or have seen it, you wasn't able to maintain your footing in it. And so, and I want to say this: just because you have the capacity to lead, because we're on this thing about being leaders, and nothing is wrong with that. But just because you may have the capacity to lead in an area doesn't mean that you lose the capacity to learn. And so when that mentor comes into your life, you have to leave the teacher mode and come into student mode, right? That is I've seen a whole lot of that. And even myself, being somebody who has the ability to teach in various areas, I always do the wash on, wash off method. Meaning, though I'm a teacher, I navigate and deviate out of that and become a student, right? A learner. And you can operate in dual roles. I tend to believe it's a dual role, teacher, student. You can't lose the student just because you elevate to the teacher, right? Another thing, you can't get under, and I want to give this scenario, meaning you have to be able to come under the spout to be poured into, right? A lot of times it's hard to do that, especially us as adults, and we feel like we have all this life experience, but there may be some areas where we've fallen short that we need that extra help. And so we have to be able to come under the spout in order to be poured into in an area. Whatever that is that we're trying to get to a place of success or a place of wholeness, if that makes sense. But number 5, let's touch number 5. Are you open to commit to the process? These are questions that you must ask yourself, because having a mentor now, and we think having a mentor is something that, okay, you could just do anytime. What I've come to realize is it's best not to do it just anytime. It's best to be in a space where you are mentally and emotionally at a certain level of maturity. I ain't saying you just got to be fully mature, but I mean, you have to be mature enough to know this takes nothing away from me to subject myself to a person to help me elevate to the next level of my life, right? And that has to be a mindset where you know that doesn't take anything away from you and your phenomenalness, if that's a word. Listen, are you open to commit to the process? Meaning, are you willing to make the necessary changes that may be challenged of you, right? Are you open to being corrected and disciplined in order to achieve your development or to achieve your goal or to achieve the success that you so visibly see yourself in your future? And you're just wondering, why can't I get there? Well, this is the game changer that may be missing, right? Are you willing? And this is key in that, are you ready to commit to the process? Are you willing to apply the instructions, not just hear it? Because many of us can hear it, but not many of us know how to do it or are willing to apply it in order to see results, right? And so these are just 5 different questions you should ask yourself. We are in a time of this, right? The Lord spoke it. We are in a time of this. I myself have had to do this, right? And be in those atmospheres. And it doesn't matter how amazing you are, right? There are still things that you can learn. There are still areas that you can improve and bring progress. And it's going to help when you get a mentor in your life. It is really going to help change the game for you and take your life and whatever that area is to the next level. You just have to be ready for it. Listen, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Listen, this is Power to Prosper. I am Dr. Natasha Oquendo. You can go and check out my website at natashaoquendo.com. I do mentoring, life coaching, whatever you want to call it, relationship coaching, even spiritual coaching, right? Personal development. I'm all about the personal development of the individual, getting to their goal and reaching places of success. I'm looking for you to prosper. And I just want to decree this and declare this over your life, that you get to the space and the place mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in every way that you can receive the mentor or the coach in the areas of your life that God have designed for you. He's waiting on you at the next level, and so am I. Listen, I love you. Be blessed. Till next time.